Hi and welcome to the channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to work with room reverb on vocals. So let's hear how the track sounds before adding the reverb.
Yeah, I be blowing up your phone all the time, yeah. Thinking who is always on the other line, yeah. In the middle of the night you got me dialing, got me wiling, nah.
Cool. So our goal for adding room reverb is to fill in the space so that the vocal and the beat feel more cohesive. So let's go to the channel strip. So this is the vocal channel strip without any room reverb on it. So let's add the room reverb now. Here it is. Cool. So now we got it open. So basically we'll just kind of play with the knobs and kind of hear what sounds best. Kind of take them down, take them up, and just try to make it sound natural and like it all kind of fits together. So I'll walk you through it now.
I be blowing up your phone all the time, yeah. Thinking who is always on the other line, yeah. In the middle of the night you got me dialing, got me wiling, nah.
So first thing you want to do, you want to keep this on eco mode. Basically that chops out some of the high end that's on the vocal. If it's on HQ, then the reverb will sound too bright. And you don't want those bright artifacts in your vocals usually, especially for making kind of like dark pop music. It just sounds too happy and it's too much.
I be blowing up your phone all the time, yeah. Thinking who is always on the other line, yeah. In the middle of the night you got me dialing, got me wiling, nah. Yeah. I be blowing up your phone all the time, yeah. Thinking who is always on the other line, yeah. In the middle of the night you got me dialing, got me wiling, nah.
Cool. So with the length, if you guys noticed, so I pretty much brought it back to what the default setting was, which I think it was on 3 initially. So if you bring it down, it starts sounding too short. And if you bring it longer, then it sounded too long for this specific song. So your song, if it's slower or faster, the beat, or just the BPM of the song in general, it might fit better if you have the length on longer. But I'm basically trying to make it so that when the notes that he sings ring out, that it kind of goes into the next word that he's saying. It doesn't bleed. So when I say bleed, it doesn't like run and make everything sound muddy. So I'll show you what that sounds like to kind of show you what not to do.
I be blowing up your phone all the time, yeah. Thinking who is always on the other line, yeah. In the middle of the night you got me dialing, got me wiling, nah. Yeah. I be blowing up your phone all the time, yeah. Thinking who is always on.
Cool. So when I made the length too long, you could probably hear that it gets really muddy and the reverb just starts bunching up. And that's just not good, at least for this. I don't like it. And then when you make it too short, it just doesn't sound like there's really reverb there. I mean, it could be a cool effect. You can use that if you want. But for this track, I just wanted it to sound as natural as possible. So let's keep messing with the room size and I'll walk you through that.
In the middle of the night you got me dialing, got me wiling, nah. Yeah. I be blowing up your phone all the time, yeah. Thinking who is always on the other line, yeah. In the middle of the night you got me dialing, got me wiling, nah. Yeah. I be blowing up your phone all the time, yeah. Thinking who is always on the other line, yeah. In the middle of the night you got
Cool. So what this is doing right here, the dampness, it's pretty much like taking the reverb. So if the reverb was going to just have like a tail that kind of ends out naturally, kind of compare it to putting a fade. If you put like a little volume fade on the end or the beginning of a track, that's basically what this is doing to the reverb tail, if that makes sense. And then as far as the room, this will help like make the reverb wider. It'll make it sound bigger, or it'll make it sound smaller or narrower. So I kind of like the default setting that it was already on. What I'm trying to do is make it fit in with the track. So I don't want to make it sound overly wide so that the vocal reverb is just so wide that it just sounds detached from the vocal or the beat itself. I want it to sit in there. So if the beat has a certain amount of width to it, then I want the vocal reverb to sit within that width, if that makes sense. And yeah, it just needs to basically, it's assisting to make the vocal feel more cohesive with the beat. Let's go to the mix knob and mess with that a little bit.
I be blowing up your phone all the time, yeah. Thinking who is always on the other line, yeah. In the middle of the night, got me dialing, got me wiring, nah, nah. Yeah. I be blowing up your phone all the time, yeah. Thinking who is always on the other line, yeah. In the middle of the night, you got me dialing, got me wiring, nah, nah. Yeah. I be blowing up your phone all the time, yeah.
Cool. So with the mix knob, you can see that you can turn it up all the way and it'll just make it sound like just only reverb, or you can turn it down and make it sound like there's no reverb. So I like to try to find a blend where there's a little bit of reverb in there. You can hear it, it's pretty audible, but the vocal, the dry version of the vocal at least, is still sounding very much up front, and the mix knob is turned down to a point where it's sitting, the reverb is sitting behind the vocal. It's not competing with the vocal. It's not sounding louder than the vocal. It's sounding behind the vocal, but not too quiet where you can't hear it. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any other thoughts for any other kind of videos that you guys would want, and have a good day.